So yesterday, James Comey's indictment was dismissed on the grounds that Lindsay Halligan was actually unlawfully appointed. Now, we had a good feeling that Lindsay would be a goner, but what happens now? What happens now as we wait to see what Judge Nachmanoff, the trial judge, will do next? Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show. On our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. We're literally 10,000 away. Thanks to you. Yesterday, another bang-up day. So hit subscribe, watch, comment, and share, because this insanity, again, it doesn't just stop with Comey. There's also Tish James and others. So do me a favor. Again, hit subscribe, watch, comment, and share, because this stupidity, it's got to come to an end. Now, look, we've been talking for weeks now about the indictment of Comey and the legal frenzy that has ensued. After the news yesterday, James Comey posted this statement. Let me show you what he said.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump, but we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right. But I'm not afraid. And I hope you're not either. I hope instead you are engaged, you are paying attention, and you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it, which it does. My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial and keep the faith.
So let me be crystal clear. No, he's not. All right. The dismissal had nothing to do with the facts of the case. It was merely procedural in the fact that Lindsay Halligan was not lawfully appointed, plain and simple. Let me be clear also. James Comey is no Boy Scout. James Comey did some terrible shit, including to people like me early on with the Russia hoax. So rest assured, he could sit there and he could play the victim. Oh, Donald Trump this and so on. James Comey is a bad actor. Now, let me tell you this, that AG Pam Bondi, she was asked what she will do regarding the dismissal. Play that clip.
If I could just get your reaction to the James Comey, Letitia James cases being dropped today. Back in Washington, James Comey put out a video. He said this matters most because a message has to be sent. The President of the United States cannot use the Department of Justice to target his political enemies. Your reaction to the cases being dropped into that specific message?
Sure, we'll be taking all available legal action, including an immediate appeal, to hold Letitia James and James Comey accountable for their unlawful conduct.
What is your reaction to his statement?
I'm going to keep going on this. I'm not worried about someone who has been charged with a very serious crime. His alleged actions were a betrayal of public trust.
Yeah. Let me also be crystal clear. They should actually do some homework themselves before you want to stand up at a podium to answer questions. I mean, that was possibly one of the worst responses that anybody can give. Talk about shitty responses. Here comes Caroline Machine Gun Lips Levitt right to the rescue, who goes on Fox and claims that Halligan was lawfully appointed. Well, okay. Clearly, if Caroline Levitt is telling you that she's lawfully appointed, well, why would anybody ever question her? Play the clip.
What's White House response to that, and what can we expect will happen next, Caroline?
Well, what I will say is that everybody knows that James Comey lied to Congress. It's as clear as day. And this judge took an unprecedented action to throw these cases out to shield James Comey and Letitia James from accountability based on a technical ruling. And the administration disagrees with that technical ruling. We believe the attorney in this case, Lindsay Halligan, is not only extremely qualified for this position, but she was in fact legally appointed. And I know the Department of Justice will be appealing this in very short order. So maybe James Comey should pump the brakes on his victory lap.
Yeah, let me be crystal clear. Caroline Levitt doesn't know shit about the law. She doesn't know shit about process. In fact, everyone across the board, from the greatest minds in law to the dumbest, turned around and said, there's a process. There's a process that needs to be had in order for Lindsay Halligan, after, of course, Siebert, who was then left. I mean, it's as clear as day, Caroline. And finally, then a reporter asks Caroline if Trump is now more determined to go after Comey and Tish James. Play that clip.
So Caroline, is the president more determined now, since the judge's ruling today, to go after James Comey and Tish James, and if so, why?
I wouldn't say he's going after them. I think the president is more determined than ever to see accountability in this country, yes, and to correct the wrongs of the weaponization of our justice system that we saw under the previous administration and Joe Biden.
Are we entering a new?
Yeah. How about the weaponization of the Department of Justice, like the book over my shoulder there, during his first administration as well? By the way, James Comey, as I said when I started out this episode, yeah, James Comey's not a Boy Scout. He's not a good guy. They just, of course, have to do their homework. They have to know how they're going to end up charging, and it has to be a lawful charge. Otherwise, you don't even get to the facts. Now, Caroline then goes on and claims that Trump, well, he doesn't want to go after people. Now, we're not seeing that, but rather he wants to correct the wrongs. Okay, great. Jesse the Jerk-Off Waters, well, he may not have gotten that message because he's on TV claiming that the decision for the Trump administration to go after, for example, Mark Kelly is good because it makes an example out of him. Play the clip.
See them fumbling and stumbling. And I'm glad that the U.S. military is now investigating this guy Kelly, because this is what we expect from Donald Trump 2.0. You can't have the deep state interfering with a duly elected presidency and get away with it. You got to draw the line in the sand, and you have to make examples out of people.
Yeah, you know what else you have to do, you idiot? You have to uphold the Constitution. It's called the First Amendment. You don't even have to read past the first page. They actually have a right to say whatever they want. No different than you do, or Caroline Levitt does, or 99% of the administration that gets out there and lies every single day, or they say things that maybe the other side doesn't like. Meanwhile, I do want to show you the post from Pete Hegseth. This is classic Hegseth. Here's what he says. In it, he writes, an official statement from the Department of War. The Department of War has received serious allegations of misconduct against Captain Mark Kelly, USN retired. In accordance with the Uniform Code of Military Justice, that's 10 U.S.C. 688, and other applicable regulations, a thorough review of these allegations has been initiated to determine further actions, which may include recall to active duty for court-martial proceedings or administrative measures. This matter will be handled in compliance with military law, ensuring due process and impartiality. Further official comments will be limited to preserve the integrity of the proceedings. The Department of War reminds all individuals that military retirees remain subject to the UCMJ for applicable offenses, and federal laws such as 18 U.S.C. 2387 prohibit actions intended to interfere with the loyalty, morale, or good order and discipline of the armed forces. Any violations will be addressed through appropriate legal channels. All service members are reminded that they have a legal obligation under the UCMJ to obey lawful orders, and that orders are presumed to be lawful. A service member's personal philosophy does not justify or excuse the disobedience of an otherwise lawful order. Well, there you have it. I do want people to understand that Mark Kelly's not just a decorated member of the armed forces. He's also a decorated astronaut. And here, and I think this is a massive mistake for Hegseth, for Caroline Levitt, and even people like Jesse Waters to try and make light of Mark Kelly. Let me be very clear. He is revered by MAGA veterans as well. Stupid move. Now, Mark Kelly, of course, he responded to the threats by going on Rachel Maddow. Play that clip.
Of the 6 Democratic lawmakers who made these statements, which have so upset the president, he's coming after you. At least he's coming after you first. Do you have any opinion as to why he may have singled you out in this way?
I don't know. We would have to ask him that question. Could be him, could be Pete Hegseth. I don't know. And I would have been really shocked if any other president, did this. But when I saw that tweet today, it kind of sort of made sense. I mean, these two guys, they informed me of this in a tweet, because this is not about the law. This is about the media cycle, and it's about intimidation. And it's the whole thing's almost comical. Like, how does reciting the UCMJ, how is that, which is the Uniform Code of Military Justice? We basically repeated the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and they're saying that's in violation of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It's absurd.
Yeah, which it is. And by the way, if they end up recalling him and then they try to bring him up for a court-martial or for administrative proceedings, rest assured, the JAG officers, the judge, they're not going to buy it. It's very hard to go after somebody with Mark Kelly's reputation and his distinction. Now, Caroline Leavitt, she goes out and she tells reporters that no order, check this out, no order from the President of the United States to our military has ever been or will be illegal. Well, I don't know. Maybe you'd like to provide some more info on these drug boat attacks? Play that clip.
They were leaning into that experience to try and give a wink and a nod to the 1.3 million active duty service members who serve in our United States Armed Forces, and essentially encourage them to defy the orders of their commander-in-chief, which is illegal, by the way. Let me be very clear. Not a single order this president or administration has given to our military has ever been illegal, nor will it ever be. This administration respects and abides by the law, and these officials know it. They are trying to sow chaos and distrust, which is a very dangerous thing to do within the military's ranks. The sanctity of our military respects and relies on law and order in the chain of command, and that's what this administration is trying to say. And that's why the Department of War opened up this investigation against Senator Mark Kelly today.
Yeah, don't think so. But Caroline also goes on and says that you can't have soldiers questioning orders. Really? I'm not sure about that one. Play the clip.
Go ahead, Caroline.
They can't answer the question, Martha, because there is no answer. They can't identify illegal orders because there are no illegal orders. But they were suggesting, again, to the 1.3 million active duty service members in the military today that if you think an order is illegal, you don't have to follow it. Actually, that's against the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It explicitly states, and I want to read this language precisely, that service members have a legal obligation under the U.S. UCMJ to obey lawful orders, and that orders are presumed to be lawful. You can't have a soldier out on the battlefield or conducting a classified order questioning whether that order is lawful or whether they should follow through. There must be a chain of command in our military.
Well, actually, that's not true. Clearly, she never saw the 2000 movie with Samuel L. Jackson called Rules of Engagement. Actually, there are things that even if you get the order, you cannot do. Oh, yeah, like waterboarding. Meanwhile, finally, Jessica Tarlov, she had to bring the Fox host back to reality, saying that none of the Democratic leaders told members of the military to defy lawful orders. Let me say that again, lawful orders. Play the clip.
Jessica, don't you wish you can roll the tape and delete this? This is not the finest moment. And in fact, if you are saying the commander-in-chief is giving illegal orders and he's not, that itself is illegal because you're telling people to not comply with laws that Hegseth today said are presumed to be lawful.
There's nothing in the video that says, I want you to defy lawful orders. It's reminding people that in the Uniform Code of Military Justice, you have a sworn duty to not comply with unlawful orders.
And what would those
Senator
be?
Slotkin gave an interview to TMZ where she did talk about what could potentially fall into those categories. As Kennedy said, bombing boats in the Caribbean when you don't know who's actually in those boats. And we don't know why General Halsey, who was the head of the Southern Command, actually resigned from that post. We'll eventually find out what that is. They go back to 2020 when Donald Trump said shoot protesters in the legs, and Mark Esper said we're absolutely not doing things like that. Concerned that people who are serving right now have come to tell these veteran representatives that they feel like.
Yeah. Do you not remember that? Do you not remember Trump turning around literally there in D.C. by the church asking, why can't we gas these folks? Why can't we shoot them in the legs? Or how about the migrants that were trying to come through the water and by the border wall? And he said, well, you can't shoot them. So, well, how about in the legs? No, that would be an illegal order. This is why I keep saying, please, let's get there. Let's get to our 500,000. Hit subscribe, watch, comment, and share, because this level of stupidity, it really does need to stop. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.